going on, guys? Here's Hydra Spy here with my second Force of Will deck profile. This time around it's going to be on my green, blue, red, little red Campanella deck. It's a really sweet deck. What I really like about it is that when people usually see this card, they usually associate it with like a red rush deck. But I think it's actually even better in a control-ish version of a deck, and I want to explain why in the deck profile. So here's the deck for those of you that just want to see it, and then I'll get into my choices and why I run what I run now. So first of all, let's just get into the core of the deck: Campanella, Tsukiyomi, and Little Red. Okay, so pretty much Campanella is 2 blue. When it enters the field, you can search for a moon from your deck as long as it's blue. So we're going to be searching for Tsukiyomi, the Moon City. It also has 2 other abilities, which say it gains 200/200 as long as you control a moon. Not very relevant, but its third ability is pretty sweet. When a Resonator is put into the graveyard from your field, you may banish Campanella to add that Resonator back to your hand. It has a pretty sweet combo with this little guy, but I'll get into that later. And then Tsukiyomi says, pay 1 to produce Moon Will, but you could also pay 1 to put this card in the bottom of your main deck and give a guy flying until the end of the turn, and you draw a card. So as you can see, I only have to run 1 moon because it keeps going to the bottom of my deck, and I can keep searching it with my Campanella, and yeah, it's pretty sweet. And then Little Red says, pay 0, you cannot play this ability if you haven't put a moon into the field this turn. So if you just draw this and you play it, you can flip her for free. If you Campanella into it, you can flip her for free. Let's flip her over. She has swiftness, 12-2, very fragile, so that's why I really like green in a deck like this. It allows for negation, so you don't usually ever want to flip this up unless your opponent's tapped out, or you know they can't answer it. Otherwise, you're going to want negation for cards like Lightning Bolt or Thunder that can just kill it right away. And then its enter ability deals 800 to Resonator on the field, which is pretty sweet. 800 is a lot. It's pretty much a free Lightning Bolt and a half. And then at the end of the turn, it flips back. So it's very hard for your opponent to kill. It's going to be early game, which you can do a lot of the time, is you can just play this. Your opponent's going to be tapped out early game. You can play it, kill their Elvish Priest, attack for 12 and direct, and that's a lot of damage right at the start. Let's get on to the Resonators. We have the ramp package, Elvish Priest, and Gretel. Excuse me. Those are going to be very helpful in a deck like this because even though this deck doesn't have the most late game in the world, you really want to have mana to keep up your negation, your instants, and you also want to have mana mostly for that, for your instants and stuff. Next up is Familiar of the Holy Wind, pretty much the Cheshire Cat of the deck. I think it's a little bit better than Cheshire Cat in a deck like this because of its second ability. When you play it, it's a 200/200 body and you draw a card. But then you can pay a green and sack it, banish it, and deal 300 to a dude. So with this card and Campanella, you can just play this, draw a card, pay a green, deal 300 to something, sack off Campanella, put her back in your hand, play her again for another green, draw some more cards, do some more damage. You can pile on some damage with just that single combination. You can like deal maybe 900 if you have a couple Campanellas to one dude. That can really get rid of some big guys on the board. Next up, Gretel's, ramp. 3 Feasting. Feasting's a nice stall. Nice battle tricks, has a lot of abilities, lets you tap for mana, stuff like that. Got 1 Little Dread, mostly there for the versatility of the card. It was the 40th card in the deck, and I don't think I'd change it. It's just a sweet card, to be honest. 1 Athos because I run 2 Witch's Dagger, and then 2 Blazer, which is a really sweet card in combination with Tsukiyomi. Pretty much can play this for 5 from your banish zone or from your hand, and then you can tap this, put it at the bottom of your deck, draw a card, and give it flying. Pretty sweet. You're always going to have Tsukiyomi on the board. So yeah, just a lot of synergy in this deck. Again, Campanella, you know what it does. It searches Tsukiyomi. I explained. I want to talk about Tsukiyomi a little bit. I was going to run 2 because of cards like Dream of Juliet and stuff, but I figured if this card gets removed from the field somehow, I'll just Zeke's it back, because running 2 of this card, it's not the best card in the world. I'd rather waste a Zeke's to put one back from my grave into my deck than actually run a second copy. I mean, even if you Zeke's, it does seem like a -1, but I mean, it's going to allow you to keep flipping this card, and this card is insane, so it's pretty much the finisher of the deck, aside from Blazer. And then you have the negation. You have to run Cake Zone in any green deck, but it's especially good in this because it protects your Little Red. Then you get the 4 Thunders. This is going to help you against rulers and maybe some early game aggression, but mostly for rulers that you can't deal with. And then we got 2 Exceed, just a little bit more negation. I was going to try Shooting Star. I think that card's kind of sweet, but it's not in here for now. We're just going to go with the Exceed, 2 of them. And then 2 Witch's Dagger. It'll help with the draw. It's really good on a card like Familiar. Pretty much you can, I mean, Familiar is almost useless a lot of the time, but it does draw you a card, so you're going to be able to draw 4 cards with that combination. And then here are the stones. Nothing really special. There are 2 non-Gretel targets, kind of lows, but I feel like you have to run Feasting because it can protect this dude. And then this card is just going to help you with your color fixing, because it's better than running a blue-red stone, right? So, and then one final note, a card I was considering in this deck is Little Mermaid. I really love that card, but it's kind of tight on 2 drops as it is. I have 8, and I wouldn't really know what to cut. But yeah, that's the deck, guys. I would really appreciate any constructive criticism. I think the deck is pretty straightforward. I used to run light in it, but I cut the light for red because I really like red a lot more than light in a deck like this. Yep, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Peace out.